Respect is not something you can demand, it is something you earn. And the truth is, people don't respect you because of your position, your money, or even your talent. They respect you for who you are, for the energy you bring, and for the choices you make every single day. If you want the world to take you seriously, if you want to walk into a room and feel the weight of respect around you, then you must first learn what not to carry with you. So let's talk about 5 habits you need to remove if you truly want to earn respect. The first habit is seeking validation. We live in a world where likes, comments, and applause seem like oxygen. But here's the truth. If your confidence is dependent on someone else's approval, you'll always feel empty. People respect those who stand tall even when no one is clapping. Stop waiting for permission to shine. The day you stop asking, "Do you think I'm good enough?" is the day people will begin to respect you. The second habit is gossiping. Nothing erodes respect faster than being the person who talks about others instead of building themselves. When you gossip, you show insecurity. When you speak ill of someone, you reveal more about yourself than about them. If you want respect, let your words lift, not destroy. Be the person who protects conversations, not poisons them. The third habit is inconsistency. Respect comes from trust, and trust is built when your words and your actions align. If you say one thing and do another, people will never take you seriously. Remove the habit of starting things you don't finish, of making promises you don't keep, of shifting your values based on convenience. Consistency creates credibility, and credibility creates respect. The fourth habit is disrespecting time, yours and others. If you treat time like it has no value, people will treat you the same way. Showing up late, wasting hours on things that don't matter, procrastinating, it all screams irresponsibility. Respect is born when you value your commitments, when you honor the clock, and when people can depend on you without question. The fifth habit is ignoring self-growth. Respect follows those who evolve. If you're the same person you were last year, stuck in the same excuses, people will stop looking at you as someone worth admiring. Remove the habit of settling. Remove the habit of saying, "This is just who I am." No, it's who you choose to be. The more you invest in your growth, the more people will respect the journey you're on. So remember, this respect is not given freely, it's earned. And it begins when you stop carrying the habits that pull you down. The moment you remove validation, seeking, gossip, inconsistency, disrespect for time, and stagnation, you become someone impossible to ignore. Because respect isn't about what you demand from the world, it's about what the world naturally gives you when you live with strength, integrity, and purpose. When you live your life constantly seeking validation, you hand over the steering wheel of your self-worth to someone else. You wake up in the morning not asking yourself how you feel, but instead wondering what the world thinks of you. It starts small. You check your phone to see how many likes your photo got. You wait for that one person to reply to your message. You walk into a room hoping people notice your outfit, your words, your presence. But soon, this habit begins to shape the core of your confidence. You start to feel that unless someone claps for you, unless someone tells you that you're good enough, your efforts don't matter. And that is the fastest way to lose your power. Respect doesn't come to people who beg for approval. Respect is drawn toward those who carry themselves with certainty, who stand firm even when no one else is looking. The truth is, the world respects confidence, not desperation. People admire those who validate themselves, who walk into a room not asking for attention, but radiating energy that demands it naturally. Seeking validation makes you fragile. Imagine you are holding a glass vase, and every person you meet has the power to either fill it with water or crack it with a stone. That's how it feels when your worth is dependent on external approval. One negative comment, one disapproving look, one rejection, and suddenly your confidence shatters. But when you validate yourself, when you decide that your efforts, your values, and your dreams are enough, you turn that fragile glass vase into a solid foundation no one can break. You no longer get destroyed by criticism, and you no longer live for compliments. You learn to appreciate them, but you don't depend on them. That's the difference between living as a puppet and living as a leader. Another trap of validation seeking is that it makes you lose your authenticity. You start molding yourself into what others want to see. You change your tone, your personality, your choices, not because you believe in them, but because you're hungry for their approval. And here's the irony: the more you chase approval, the less people respect you. Respect comes from originality, from having the courage to say, "This is who I am." People may not always agree with you, but they will admire your boldness. They will respect that you don't bend your identity just to be liked. Authenticity is magnetic, but it only shines when you stop living for validation and start living for truth. Validation seeking also steals your freedom to make mistakes. When you're too worried about what people will think, you hesitate to try, you hold back from taking risks. You play it safe because you fear embarrassment. But growth never comes from safety. It comes from stepping into the unknown. When you remove this habit, you allow yourself the freedom to fail without shame, to learn without guilt, to rise without waiting for applause. People respect those who are brave enough to take chances, not those who hide behind the fear of judgment. Every great leader, every innovator, every role model you admire had to remove this habit of needing validation before they could step into greatness. Think about it. How many times have you stopped yourself from saying something because you worried it wouldn't sound smart enough? How many dreams have you left unfinished because you thought others might laugh at you? How many times have you looked in the mirror and thought, "What will they think?" That voice, that constant fear of judgment, is the prison of validation. And the day you silence it, the day you decide that your dreams are bigger than someone else's opinion, that's the day you step into true freedom. People respect freedom. They respect someone who lives boldly, someone who makes choices without begging for acceptance. Another powerful shift happens when you stop seeking validation. You begin to respect yourself, and here's a truth most people ignore. You cannot earn respect from others if you don't respect yourself first. When you constantly chase approval, you send a silent message that your own voice isn't enough, that you don't trust your own judgment. But when you stand firmly in your values, when you validate your own choices, you send the opposite message, that you know your worth. And people respond to that energy. Respect is contagious. It flows from within you and multiplies in the world around you. Removing this habit doesn't mean you stop listening to feedback or stop appreciating love from others. It means you stop depending on it. There's a big difference between enjoying praise and needing praise. One empowers you, the other enslaves you. The key is to shift your mindset from, "I hope they notice me," to "I know I matter whether they notice me or not." That shift changes everything. You start working not for recognition, but for excellence. You start speaking not to be heard, but to deliver value. You start living not to please the crowd, but to fulfill your purpose. And when you live this way, ironically, the validation you once chased will come to you naturally. But this time you won't need it to define your worth. When you make gossip a part of your daily habit, you quietly weaken the foundation of your own respect. It may feel harmless at first, just sharing a story about someone, just passing along something you heard. But what you don't realize is that every time you engage in gossip, you are showing people who you really are. You are telling them that you would rather spend your energy discussing someone else's life than working on your own. And while people may laugh with you in that moment, deep inside, they begin to question your integrity. They wonder if you speak the same way about them when they are not around. Respect is not earned by tearing others down. It is earned by lifting conversations higher, by proving that you are someone who values truth and dignity more than temporary entertainment. Gossip is a trap that feeds insecurity. It makes you believe that by pointing out someone else's flaws, you are somehow more powerful, more relevant. But in reality, it does the opposite. When your words revolve around the mistakes, failures, or private lives of others, you reveal your own lack of focus, your own dissatisfaction, your own emptiness. People may listen to you, but they will never trust you. And without trust, respect is impossible. Those who gossip become known as unreliable, dangerous even, because no one feels safe opening their heart or sharing their truth with them. If you want respect, you must be the kind of person whose words feel like a safe space, not a weapon. There's another side to gossip that often gets ignored. It wastes your time and energy. Every moment you spend dissecting someone else's choices is a moment stolen from your own growth. Instead of building your skills, nurturing your goals, or deepening your relationships, you scatter your attention on things that add no value to your life. And eventually, you realize that you are stuck in the same place while others move ahead. People respect ambition, they respect progress, they respect those who are so focused on their vision that they don't have the time or desire to gossip. When you remove gossip from your life, you create space for conversations that inspire you, challenge you, and push you to become better. Think about how gossip spreads. One person whispers a half-truth, another adds a little spice, and by the time it reaches the 10th ear, it is completely distorted. Gossip is like pollution. It starts small but quickly contaminates everything it touches. And when you participate in it, you not only spread that pollution but also attach your name to it. People remember who said what. They remember the face behind the words. You might forget the conversation, but the impression you leave behind stays. And that impression is what costs you respect. No one admires the person known for stirring drama. They admire the person who refuses to entertain it. Choosing not to gossip requires strength. It means sometimes staying silent when others expect you to join in. It means redirecting a conversation when negativity takes over. It means having the courage to walk away when you realize the discussion is not aligned with your values. But this strength is exactly what earns you respect. People notice when you choose dignity over drama. They notice when you choose restraint over recklessness. And over time, your reputation becomes one of trustworthiness, maturity, and leadership. Respect grows in the spaces where gossip cannot survive. Another powerful truth is that gossip doesn't just harm the person being talked about. It harms you too. When you constantly speak about others in a negative light, your mind begins to think negatively about yourself as well. The energy you project outward circles back inward. You become more critical, more judgmental, less kind to your own journey. But when you remove gossip, you naturally develop compassion. You start seeing people's struggles with empathy instead of entertainment. And that same compassion reflects back to you. You learn to forgive yourself, to be patient with your own growth, and this inner kindness makes you stronger. People respect those who treat others with humanity because it shows they can be trusted to do the same in every situation. It's also important to understand that gossip lowers the standard of your influence. Greatness is not built on cheap talk, it is built on valuable ideas. The most respected voices in the world are those who use their words to inspire, to educate, to motivate, not to spread rumors. Every conversation you have is an opportunity to either build or break your image. When people walk away from you, do they feel lighter, inspired, or do they feel drained and doubtful? The answer to that question determines whether they respect you or avoid you. Removing gossip ensures that your presence becomes associated with growth, with wisdom, with positivity. There will always be opportunities to gossip, and the temptation will always be there. People bond over stories, over shared secrets, over laughing at someone else's expense. But remember, temporary bonding built on gossip is weak and fragile. It dissolves as quickly as it begins. True respect and true connection come from conversations rooted in authenticity, vision, and support. When you are the person who refuses to gossip, you are not just protecting your own integrity. You are raising the standard for everyone around you. You are setting an example that words are powerful and that power must be used responsibly.